Welcome once again, man. This is Richard Taylor, Taylor House Publishing. I am here with a good brother, good friend of mine, um, Michael Wyche. He's a South Norfolk native. Oscar Smith, the Oscar Smith football standout. University of Miami Hurricanes alumni, Green Bay Packer, and the CEO of Michael Wyche Gives Hope now. Definitely a pleasure to have you with me, man. Thank you for giving me the time.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Thanks
So I
for
just,
having me.
yeah, and I just want to take the time to highlight you today, man. It's a little about what you're doing, and some of the things you've been through to get you from here to point A. Hopefully, this story might inspire some people. So, tell them about, tell the people, if you don't mind, introduce yourself, what you're doing right now. Tell them a little bit about your foundation and the things you got going on.
I'm the CEO of Michael Wyche Gives Hope LLC, which is basically, we selling hope around the world, inspiring people around the world. It's something that I've always been passionate about, even when I was younger. Basically, it all circles around, educating people about life, decision making, overcoming, and pretty much money. Educating them on how to use money and what to do with money and stuff like that. Something that I've always been passionate about, so I put it in existence. And we also sell my clothing as well.
Yeah. So Michael Wyche Give Hope. I see you all around the internet, all on Facebook. You're doing some motivational speaking with the children around, Norfolk and different other places. So tell me, what is this story? We're right here in South Norfolk, South Norfolk.
Where it all began.
That's, where it all began for Mr. Wyche right here. South Norfolk is on the borderline of Chesapeake and Virginia, Chesapeake and Norfolk. And, a lot of people might call it a rough place. My daughter stays, right in Berkeley, which is, on the borderline of South Norfolk. So tell us a little bit about, the neighborhood growing up around here and, some of the things that you had to go through to pretty much live.
Well, it's tough out here, man. Killings, drug dealing, prostitution, the whole 9 yards. You had to be tough to come from here, or else you'll get eaten. Hustle. One thing you learn in here is hustle. If you don't hustle, you won't eat where I come from.
Yeah.
So you're born with that. That's installed into you, and sometimes it can make you a very successful person or a statistic.
Yeah.
So you learn real quick how to survive, but sometimes, like I said, you get yourself in bad situations as well. You don't really mean to. It's just you're trying to survive. And dope dealing being one of it. We didn't have any professional athletes, or we didn't have any doctors or lawyers to look up to. So it was the dope boys that was our heroes. You know what I'm saying? So we went after them.
Yeah.
We followed after them because we thought that was the way out. When you meet some dope dealers that's making $2,000 to $3,000 a day, and you want that type of money growing up. So you don't know no NBA players at the time, so they was like the NBA players to you.
Yeah. So I read a story in one of the articles that about how your father and your mother met. And it told the story of how they met, and that just it actually validates what you were just saying about this area. Mm-hmm. And tell me about your childhood, and father and what happened shortly after your birth, if you don't mind?
So my mom was she was fixing lunch one day, and my father this was before I was even born. My father was running from the police, and he ran up in my mama's house. That's how they met. What a love story. So that's how they met, man. Typical things that happen in the hood. You know, guys running from the police, but he ran up in this certain house, which happened to one day be his baby mother.
Yeah. And shortly after your birth, you know, your father got sentenced to a large prison sentence, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long did he get sentenced to?
40 years. Got sentenced for 40 years, and he left when I was about to turn 3. So I was left without a father, like most kids in the hood.
Yeah.
I was left without a father.
Is that so he's still in there now?
Still in there.
Yeah. Do you have any communication with him?
Every day.
Oh yeah.
That's my guy.
Okay. That's what's up. So he's in Virginia.
He up there in Petersburg area.
Okay. You been to visit?
All the time.
That's
We
what's
can't
up,
visit
man.
right now because of the little COVID thing that's going on. But it's gonna get better.
Yeah. So when did y'all develop that relationship? Or
When he got incarcerated, you know, he always made it a deal to keep in contact. You know, even though my life was going through a maze, you know, he always, you know, was able to keep in contact somehow, some way. We didn't keep in consistent contact until I got a little bit older, because I was going through a lot of stuff as a kid, jumping from this household to that household and stuff like that. So I couldn't really talk to him the way I wanted to. But you know, when I got older and got settled, you know, it got better.
okay.
So, but that always been my guy.
Okay.
And we always had a tight bond. Yeah.
Definitely. And you mentioned like going from place to place and having like an unsettled environment.
Yeah.
So how did that affect you? You know, as you know, your personality, your mind state.
Angry, cause my mama, you know, she was going through a lot of things in her life too. So that the things that she was going through, I know that she loved me, but the sickness that she had, you know, it took over.
Definitely.
You know, and she made some mistakes that she shouldn't have made, you know, far as with me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that turned me into a monster, that turned me into a bitter individual, and it turned me into a violent person in the streets.
Yeah. So by the time you was what, like maybe 10 or 11, you was
10 or 11, I was wide awake.
Yeah.
And that's very young for a lot of kids.
Yeah.
But 10, 11, I knew more than a 17, 18-year-old.
Yeah. Because you had seen so much.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about the sickness, like, I mean, we've been apart for a while, about 8 years, but like I battled the sickness of cocaine usage, you know, powder cocaine. So I figure that's kind of the sicknesses that you were talking about, the drug sicknesses.
Right.
So, you know, I can just imagine some of the things you had to go through, you know, especially during that time.
Yeah.
So what was the turning point? What would you say was the turning point, you know, through all of that bad environment, the bad households? What would you say determined? Were there any instrumental people who came and saw you and caught you out there, and, you know, kind of
Turning point, I would have to say, turning point. A dude by the name of Jakari Taylor. He's a pastor now. He's the lead pastor for the Focus Church.
okay.
I went to alternative school, and this guy named Alexander, he introduced me to the game of football.
Okay.
Cause I didn't know anything about. I mean, I seen it on TV and all that, but I was worried about selling cocaine. I was worried about selling marijuana. You know, at that time, we done got up to, as young as we done got up to selling pounds and keys.
Yeah.
So we was worried about, getting that out, pushing that, so Alexander introduced me to the game of football, and I found interest in it. I'm like, dang, I really want to play, He said, well, you can't play doing what you're doing, so you got to get it together. And but little did he know, I had a drug selling addiction. Okay. Because the money, and I didn't want to go back to, where I was coming from. So yeah, how I'm talking to the people that that grew up when the water man come out there to turn your water off, and you go back out there after they leave and turn the water back on. Yeah. I'm talking to the people that that had to wear the same clothes at school. Spray the Febreze on the shirt. I'm talking to them people. Okay. I'm talking to the people that come from the fried bologna and eggs. Yeah. So. I ain't want that. I wanted a way out. So that addiction, even though football could get me the millions of dollars, but you tell a kid that, but what about right now? Yeah. Sometimes a kid going to school all week, that's their meal all week. But making it to the NFL, the process, you gotta go, let's see, high school is 4 years, college is 4 years. That's 8 years right there. So you telling me I gotta wait 8 years to get, when I'm struggling right now?
You got the opportunity to make it like right there. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like a lot of the athletes, coming up from whether it was high school or college, they sold drugs to make happen, whether it was weed, whether it was cocaine,
especially
crack.
Ones come from the hood.
Yeah, definitely, because it was so readily available.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
you had to have some type of cash flow coming in.
Yeah, it provided that immediate need. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people were tough enough to stay away from, but those are few and far between. Yeah. Especially like say coming from situations like yours. Yeah. So you got in high school, and you started playing football, right? And let me see, Oscar Smith. Mm-hmm. Y'all won some championships.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you're
led by CMG, Cheese Town Money Getters.
Okay. I heard of them guys.
That was a rap group that was first formed in South Norfolk, and they got so popular. We kind of collabed together, the Oscar Smith football team. It was just a cultural South Norfolk thing. We had South Norfolk just going. Yeah. We was the superstars here.
About 2008, right? Mm-hmm. So that was a good time for you. So at the high school, what did you do?
At the high school, I earned, I had to go over to California. And this is important for any student that's trying to go to college. The reason that I had to go to California because I didn't have enough grades to qualify. But I took it as a challenge because any area in my life, I always had to take the hard route. Okay. And I was cool with that. Yeah. So when I went over there, I went over to California. I had to go to junior college, of course, to get my grades right. I was one of the top players in the nation out of high school anyway, and I was supposed to sign to Clemson, but like I said, my grades wasn't right, so I had to take my talent to California to do this junior college thing. I went there, blew the junior college thing out the water, but while I was there, I endured a lot of pain. Mother passed away. Okay. Best friend got killed on his doorstep. My favorite teacher, one of my favorite teachers, hung herself at Oscar Smith High School. So this was a week before I had to play in the biggest game of my life to get all my scholarships. All the scouts were coming to see me. Okay. This was the week before. So I had to fly back home to go to the funerals. Went to the funerals.
All of that happened in the same week?
In the same week.
So your mom passed, your cousin passed, and teacher hung
No, one of my best friends got
himself?
killed.
Okay, okay.
One of my best friends got killed. My teacher, she hung herself.
Wow.
She committed suicide.
All in the